What job position is 100% overvalued and overpaid? My ed director. He's never around. Automates his email, and he has his own company. So many ed directors are not techs by any stretch, but just management that filled the void. They end up hiring MSPs to do the work. They pretty much balance the budget and approve requests for permissions or product purchases. If someone else is regional VP, they are either drowning in responsibilities working 70 hours a week, or they have absolutely nothing to do other than collecting a check. I would expand this, personally, call it the Michael Scott theorem. In any company of sufficient size, there is at least one layer of management that is completely useless, but kept around as a dumping ground for people who earned a promotion, but really shouldered stuck in on management work, nepotism hires, and people who definitely shouldn't have been hired, but are kept around, so the person who recommended/approved hiring them doesn't get embarrassed. Ferrari strategist. You'd think out of pure dumb luck they'd eventually make a correct call, right? You'd be wrong. Member of the International Olympic Committee, IARC. They've had a lengthy history of excessive demands. $4 million US spent on entertainment in Nagano, traffic lanes dedicated to IARC members during the games, etc. They make very few decisions, all of which are politically motivated. They travel extensively and are paid well for it. From the article, although technically a volunteer, the IARC president receives a yearly allowance of $251,000 and lives rent-free in a 5-star hotel and spa in Switzerland. I wouldn't mind that job. How do I apply? Do they teach corruption or a job requirement? You have to bribe your way in. So 10 plus years of corruption and bribery is minimum requirement. Am I able to bribe with taxpayers' money? Don't have much of my own. Gillette engineers. They took 5 years to go from 3 blades to 4. Generally, US Gov contractor positions requiring high security clearances. Entry-level pay isn't that high, but once you're cleared, other contractors will offer bigger bucks because you can get cleared with them quickly. Jump from one to another, wait 2 years, do it again, lather, rinse, repeat. I have a very close friend that falls into this category. He literally sits at a desk overlooking a beautiful lake and once a month drives 60 miles to visually inspect a dam. Like, just drive to it and look at it. He always jokes, if you want to see your tax dollars wasted, come visit me at work. His previous Joe Broad construction. Literally getting paid to be the fall guy. My mum, from whom I'm estranged, works as the vice president of reward at an international company. She basically arranges contracts so millionaires can get more money and gets paid £189,000 a year for it. Even she thinks it's ridiculous. Gosh, even the title of that job, vice president of reward, sounds made up. Like something you give an EPO baby to keep them busy. President of FIFA. Today, I feel gay. I feel disabled. I feel like a migrant worker. Lol. And I'm new in town. Vivat Garapalli, Clover Health. $389.6 million. George Mikan, Bright Health. $180.8 million. Mario Schlosser, Oscar Health. $60.8 million. John K.O., Alignment Healthcare. $46 million. I'm here for a potential change of career. So what have we got so far, guys? If you wanna rake in an insane amount of money, then retire super early. You could do deep sea welding, especially on oil platforms and whatnot. You can make $80k/mo. But there's a pretty good chance you'll die. Retire super early. Pretty good chance you'll die. These seem mutually exclusive. About 2/3 of the upper level admins at the university I work for. One night I babysat 3 kids for about 2 hours or so. The kids went to bed when I got there, and the parents had left dinner out for me, so all I did was eat their food and watch their TV and pet their dogs. When they got home, the mom paid me $100. I told her that was way too much. She said, don't worry about it, I'm drunk. And then I noticed her fly was down. So that was the most overpaid job ever, lol. One of the smartest moves you can make as a parent is treat those who take care of your children incredibly well. I always overpay my sitters. They're worth every penny with the peace of mind they give me. My uncle was a commercial airline pilot. He described his job as vastly overpaid in normal circumstances and vastly underpaid in emergency situations. Don't most commercial pilots have to pay crazy money to do schooling and licensing to even start working? Most high-paid jobs may be relatively easy once you've dedicated years to learning it. You're being paid for your investment in the skill and ability to perform it with ease. Can confirm. Approximately $105K, and I've paid a fair amount back already during the deferred loan period. And I'm on the lower end for people who took out loans. You see guys doing $150 to $250K in loans a lot. Hospital CEOs and actually almost all hospital upper management. There are so many layers of management that many of them barely step foot into a healthcare facility ever, let alone ever speak to a patient, yet all of them make 6, 7, 8-figure salaries plus mega bonuses. My hospital network CEO makes $11 million salary not including bonuses, which bothers me, but bothers me even more are all the board members and shit directly under him making nearly as much. It's hundreds of millions of wasted money paid to the people trying to screw staff out of good pay and screwing patients into paying big bills. I still don't know what big firm consultants do. I do consulting. It is just either outsourced office work or creating fluffy PowerPoints to give executives an excuse to authorize spending. It's not a bad gig. Sometimes it's to tell executives to do what their internal folks already told them to do, but the execs don't trust their own people. This is really at IMHO. My dad was a consultant for years. Said his approach was always the same. Go to the different departments. Make it clear he wasn't there to cut jobs. He wanted to listen to their insights and communicate to the execs what they felt in a way the execs would respond to it. He did always say that the people working the jobs made the company the money and tended to have good insight into what some of the struggles were inside the company, but didn't know how to communicate it in an effective way. Now the leadership actually responding to it and listening was another story. The one I had at my last office job. I was originally hired to be the manager of a new project, but the project was never launched, and I had a long-term contract. After 5 months of being paid by only clocking in and out without doing any actual work, someone saw me in the pool for available associates and invited me to join their project as a frontline agent. Apparently at some moment the database just marked me as an available employee, without mentioning the rank I had been hired for. I stayed in the company for 6 years, getting paid the salary of a manager, but with the responsibilities of a regular agent. I rejected every offer for growth I had, as I was only working there to pay for a debt. In the end, I made my money with very little stress and left the company in great terms. Edit. Thanks for all the attention. I really didn't expect it to get so much traction. Here's an answer to a couple common comments I've seen. First, if it was so good, why did I leave? Simple, this job had nothing to do with my own career path. A few years back my life basically crumbled to pieces. I got into some really bad debt, and at some point I just had to get a job, even if it was an office job I didn't want. Worked for 2 years in another company before I was recommended for the position in the one mentioned in my post. The day my debt was paid off was the day I presented my 2-week notice and left in great terms. I was lucky to have a nice team around me. Second, no, I won't mention the company or project. It was as an analyst in a streaming app. No, not the super big ones. What I actually did as a frontline agent was a hybrid of customer service and developer support, all text-based. Third, it was indeed a very fortunate set of coincidences and I took advantage as much as I could, but I left due to my own pursuit. I'm doing good with my own independent endeavor, and no salary will be more valuable than my own sense of accomplishment of making a living out of what I love doing. Cheers, Reddit. My last job in college, before starting my career, I was an overpass shelter staff for transitional housing. Since these clients were basically back up on their feet by the time they arrived, they were pretty self-sufficient. I was paid about 25% higher than other night shift jobs I could get at the time, and on most nights all I had to do was make 1 pot of coffee. The rest of the time I could watch TV, play video games, do personal chores, etc. The one job that I know was better was their overpass sleeper, since we had to have 2 staff at all times. As implied, this dude made a well above minimum wage rate to just sleep there on the weekends. Life coach. This girl I know became a life coach and charges $300-500 per person for a 4-hour seminar that a friend of mine used to help her set up for. Friend said all it was 4 hours of her saying these people are great and doing yoga plus breathing exercises. And she had repeat customers and often 4 to 8 people per class. $2,400 per weekend to tell people they are awesome and do a few yoga stretches. Fucking wild. Mine. Lol. But I'm not gonna tell my employer that. Gary. Sorry to contact you over Reddit, but your mailbox is full and you're not responding to emails. We really need that report on you /Splatrick12 if we are expected to keep Operation Thunderfuck on schedule. Please CC Big Cheese and Bright Hat. They've requested to be keep informed. Regards. Analyst 12/2. Edit. Disregard. This was supposed to be a PM. Not sure how to delete on mobile over a sat phone. Whoever was in charge of that fuck up in Ohio. Thank you all for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and to have a great day.